suppose that's us then.
Amazing. It's amazing how much useful detail he managed to convey in that compared to the other.
Yes.
What does it say?
Between a scream and a growl, and it attacks cows, and he thinks it's the foreman.
And it's beaked and clawed.
Victor Claude.
Sort of takes a side eye at Victor.
Hello everyone, welcome on in and happy Friday. As you can see, I have been joined by some really amazing people for this first part of 3 for our Vasen mystery. For those who are not familiar with the Vasen system, it is a primarily role-playing horror type of system. Yeah, combat is not something we strive for in Vaesen, because that could go horribly, horribly, horribly wrong for everyone involved.
I'm a doctor.
I do remember reading the thing, and it said, it's really hard to kill this physically, so, I want to have a plan. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. So the thing with most humans that you face that might be a little bit dickish, not really an issue to take out other than the moral one, but the creatures are very specific in how you can neutralize them.
Oh no.
Sometimes the goal is not to.
Exactly. Sometimes the goal is to ask them politely to fuck off instead.
Yeah.
So.
And we may do that.
Yes.
We know.
Promises?
Ouch.
Yes, Sen. So it begins. Cry havoc and let loose the rabbits of war.
Puny.
Loose the war rabbits.
Oh no, not the war rabbits. That'd be terrifying. There'd be so many.
War rabbits? Where rabbits?
Wait.
They're rabbits.
Uh-oh. Quack, 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 quack.
That didn't work because I'm dumb and forgot to add
Enlarge
something.
them.
Give me a moment.
Rabbit's mouth. That'd be very uncomfortable.
So apparently it adds automatically if you sub directly, but I have to do something to make it work if you gift a sub, which is strange.
Oh.
And
Well, then mine counted. Good, good.
yes. I just have to remember to add 10 minutes to the physical clock once this timer has run out because of Terris' gifted one.
Good.
Yes.
And I need to add something that I apparently missed, which is the...
Oh, kitty cat.
No, not game sounds. We need a sound alert scene for this. So, who are all these amazing people that have now joined me for the start of the my 3rd anniversary as a... Why are you... There you are.
What I say unto you.
War duck rabbits, a bit like platypus.
Woof, woof, I say to you. A
Rabbits.
biscuit, thank you.
The Izzard references.
Yes.
Yeah, who are all these amazing people? Let's start with Keren. Who are you and who you will be... I can words. Who are you and who will you be playing?
Hello, I am Keren, sometimes known as the Mother of Bunnies. I'm a performer, a writer, a complete devastating internet addict. I stream over on Corsair's Cove with the man next to me, who I may or may not be married to. I'll let you work that out for yourselves. We normally stream Tuesday and Thursday nights. It's a good time. We do a lot of Humblewood. I play a raccoon. But today, I am playing the wonderful Annika Blomqvist, who is a private detective from a family of private detectives, and she likes solving mysteries, whether they be benign or supernatural.
Keren,
And sorry,
if this was Humblewood, would she be a private dick?
well, she kind of has to be now.
Yeah.
She is, sadly, for the moment, completely human.
Sadly.
Do you want me to describe her physically? How much detail do you want at this stage, Ardana?
Name and profession is really
Okay, great.
necessary.
That's all I got to say then.
Yes. Well, moving on.
Passing the baton.
Yes, moving on over to the first of the lovely bearded people in this stream.
Thank you.
Josh, who are you and who will you be playing?
Ahoy, mateys. I'll be Josh the Pirate. Yeah, I am a streamer, performer, actor, general menace online. And you can find me on my channel, Corsair's Cove, where I run D&D and other RPG-related games with my lovely wife, Keren, the Mother of Bunnies, Zach, Terris, and Ardana sometimes, and all my lovely friends, who they would count as some of. But you know that probably because I've been around here a few times as well. And today I will be playing Ansfrid Blomqvist. He is also a private detective, but nothing else. He doesn't do anything else. He's totally not an occultist, for example. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do a seance for you if you wanted to talk to your dead granny, because that would be fucking weird. Let her be. She's had her time. The war is over. Okay, that's me.
Is it though?
We don't know.
Let's move
I
on
hope so.
over.
Dear God, I hope so.
I mean, late 80s. Yeah, the big one hasn't started yet. This takes place in 1890, so
There's been a few.
yeah, it's been a few,
The
but
troubles.
true.
Several.
But the big ones
The
haven't started yet.
big ones haven't happened yet.
No.
Not yet. Soon.
Soon.
Friends
For
are
the
still
rest of your
kicking
life.
about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ow! 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 Get your claw out of my leg. Sorry.
Why did that not make a sound? Sound alert. Are we having a little bit of a stroke? Well, speaking of... I just got distracted by that. I'm sorry. Speaking of fabulous people, Terris.
Oh, I thought you meant Zach. Hello, I'm Sir Terris, your friendly neighborhood ferret. I can be found over here often playing games with Ardana. Sometimes D&D, sometimes not D&D, sometimes other things. Today I will be playing a Dr. Leighton Draxard, who, as previously just said, is a doctor who has a rather disturbing past that we won't get into right now.
Okay.
Okay. Don't we
Oh.
all have disturbing pasts?
Yeah, but like you mentioned it.
Yes.
You made it weird.
Why bring it? Yeah, we all do. So why did you mention that specifically?
Reasons.
You're not special, Leighton.
All traumatized here.
I'm traumatized, and so is my wife.
Oh, no.
Moving
Making
on.
sure his wife is also traumatized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on to the second fabulous bearded person in this stream, Zach.
Hi, I'm Zach, or Renegade Chicken. You can find me about on several of these channels. The parasite continues to spread as I have infected Ardana's as well. I will continue to show up on here until someone weeds me out. Today,
What you
I'm...
about?
No.
Weed whackers have not been banned.
Excellent. Today, I'm playing Victor Almklint. I'm playing an officer who is...
outrageous.
not at all traumatized. Those birds are following me.
And why wouldn't they?
Exactly. If you knew what those birds had seen.
I don't know if I probably wouldn't be following you myself.
Indeed.
Yes. Hi, I'm Ardana or Joe or Oi, you there if my regular players have any say in it. Lilith isn't here to say anything though. Yet. I am the GM and channel runner around these parts, and the person who people actually believe knows what they're doing.
You lied to us.
I believe nothing.
And as some people have pointed out, yes, this is the first part in a subathon to celebrate both my 3rd stream anniversary and my cat's 10th birthday, which was yesterday. So, each sub, tier 1 sub, will add 10 minutes to the counter. And it caps out at 12 hours total, 6 hours guaranteed.
Wuss.
I know, but I felt that I should start at a reasonable level and then next time increase it.
You shouldn't use that term. It's the cat's birthday. Come on. That's insensitive.
So I should have called her pussy?
That's what.
I mean, speaking of the cat, he's not here, so he's decided to go pestering my partner, I think.
Nice.
Excellent.
And thank you, Jess. Unfortunately, Jess could not be with us, but hopefully she can join us next time and the one after that. Now, yes, because we love Jess.
You, Jess.
Love Jess
No
here.
chronic illnesses.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
So, for those who are not familiar with Vaesen, it is a roleplay heavy system where each part of the mystery can be divided into 3 separate parts, which is why I have done so. The first part is the research and call to action. The second part is the journey to the destination, and the third part is the resolution of the mystery. So we shall see how things go. I've done this twice before, not a 3-parter, but if you're interested in seeing how we did before, there is a Twitch Plays Vaesen over on my YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I've not gotten around to editing the last playthrough we did of Vaesen, but it hopefully will be up next week sometime, because I'm going to be prioritizing it.
Was I in that?
Yes, you
Yeah.
was.
Yes.
You, me, and Daria. Who else was there?
Geo.
I played that horrible
Yeah.
little troll,
That's right.
Taj, didn't I?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I was
right.
the doctor that time.
Yes.
Take care of yourself, Jess, and I do hope we get to see you next time.
Yes.
Yes.
But yes,
I have put a small hat on my black cat for you. He just threw it off, but okay.
It's the thought that counts.
it really
I'm sorry,
is.
Atraxis.
So,
He's not.
if we are all as comfortable as we are going to get, let's get this
I would be
show.
more comfortable if Atraxis would keep his claws out of my thigh.
Not gonna
I would
happen,
like
man.
to be more uncomfortable, please. Let us begin the horror.
Yeah.
Yes.
Never, father, never.
So,
Spooky stories.
I'm going to send my players 2 pictures, unless you are watching the stream, which is completely fine by me.
I am.
There
Oops,
you
and
go.
that's-
So, first image is a artistic rendering of the castle,
Ooh.
and the second one is a map of the town you're currently in.
Also, hated that somehow the orchestral stab coming through Sirenscape
Yes.
matched with both of those images coming through.
Yes. Yes.
Very ominous.
It's fine. Everything is fine.
Yeah, that castle looks like somewhere I want to go at night.
Yeah.
I mean, you live in it, so. I mean, nah, it's.
I'm just gonna
it's
hide behind my larger, more muscled husband. Just push him gently into the haunted house.
I changed the habit of a fucking lifetime.
Disclaimer, our roleplay tonight is not representative of Josh and I's actual marriage, merely a creative interpretation of it for entertainment.
You will note, chat, that I did not leap in to say that she did.
I feel that
Everything
I'm...
is spiders.
Spoiler!
Okay.
How much of that is water and how much of it is vodka, Adana?
Yes.
I don't have any vodka in the house, and I'm not going to put
Now.
Outrageous.
I'm not gonna put. Oh, what's that? It's not Kilbeggan.
Kilkenny?
No, it's not beer. But I have an Irish whiskey. But I'm not gonna put that in water.
I've got a bottle of Fireball and I have plenty of Coke. I could make cinnamon Coke.
Yes.
Ooh.
As
Why does that sound
Tealing,
good? That
thank
shouldn't
you.
sound good.
It's because it is.
It is
Oh,
really
okay.
good.
Okay.
Especially if you've got like really nice cold ice cubes. Just yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, real good.
Yeah, my partner just reminded me that it's a tealing. We have tealing. I'm not gonna pour tealing in water, because that would be a blasphemy.
I have absinthe.
Okay. On a small hill on the north end of the academy town of Uppsala stands a run-down old castle. 3 stories of empty windows peer down on the ground below, their gaze only joined by that of monstrous gargoyles lining the roof. To the west, the Fyris River runs past the castle's imposing black iron fence. To the south, equally black iron gates are guarded by imposing griffins, their fierce faces carved from soot-blackened stone. The neglected buildings are surrounded by a garden, once grand and beautiful, now covered in thorns, shrubbery, and wild trees. Mice, rats, foxes, and birds make their homes in untended flower beds, run-down statues, and deserted sheds. A small family of squirrels have made their home at the top of the teardrop-shaped fountain at the center of the courtyard. A small weed-covered path leads down to a boarded-up boathouse and a dilapidated jetty on the shore of the river. On a small hillock behind the castle sit 7 rotting wooden crosses, a grim reminder of the society's past and its relationship with the world at large. You find yourselves inside this castle. For some of you, a home, for others, a meeting hub for future endeavors and missions. Where would you say that your characters find themselves inside this castle? So you have a main room, and then you have several smaller rooms on the bottom floor, or on the ground floor, that have been furnished with sleeping accommodations, a kitchen, a small library, and a small armory.
Can I questions about the world? Not necessarily
Yep.
because I've definitely read the book, but for the audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
How established? This is a re-establishment of a previous
Yes.
version of the order. The society died out to a degree,
Mhm.
and we have a new generation, a new group has been sort of sponsored / introduced to it, and we've sort
Yes.
of taken the reins, as it were. Are we it,
Yes.
or like
So-
80% of it?
Yeah. So the 4 of you currently present, and the 5th person currently doing a separate mission, make up the core of the society as it is
Yeah.
stands right now. In addition to you, the 5 of you, there is the butler that I wrote down the name of somewhere. No. Where did I write his name down?
Scroll furiously.
Yes.
Because he's in here. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yes. So
Oh, I can probably find this. Hang on.
Carruthers.
yes. Well, no, it's
It's definitely not that.
Is it Algot Frisk?
yes, thank you. Algot Frisk, the butler and groundskeeper, and your house matron, Linnea, a tiny fairy named after one of the founding members, who now unfortunately, well, the founding member, Linnea, is now unfortunately residing at Uppsala Asylum by choice. Because of the things that she has seen in the service of the society. A while back...
Only nice things.
Yes.
All good things. All good things.
The fairy Linnea was adopted by her namesake and decided to stay at the castle even though her rescuer decided to leave. So the 7 of you, 5 humans, 1 butler, and 1 fairy. Oh, he's definitely totally 100% human, you think.
As much as one can be sure of such things.
Yes. I mean, considering that all of you have the sight and it hasn't pinged as him being Vasen, you're pretty sure he's human. He's just weird.
Oh, Little.
I feel like
to
that-
98% sure.
I
Sorry,
feel like
what?
that comes up occasionally. It's like, are they weird or they just are they Vaesen or they're just weird?
Yeah, exactly.
Is this guy a monster or is he just autistic?
Yes.
So, Adana, as the resident,
It could be both.
sorry,
Sorry.
No, you're right.
as the resident chief physician,
Uh-huh.
here would Leighton have his own sort of medical rooms, sort of office.
You could
would you
definitely
imagine?
have set some up.
Yeah.
When
so
you
I
first...
think what he's done is he sort of made an infirmary and sort of like a little lab, and then off to one side of that there are his private rooms. Wandering around in this, there would be a wrinkly, hairless cat.
Yep.
Who I think often tries to chase our fairy friend.
Excellent.
Yes.
I think Anthrid would be on the roof.
Okay.
With where he keeps a bunch of messenger pigeons.
Nice. Yep.
And he has one that is tame and reasonably intelligent and is pretty much his consistent companion. Like he has a shoulder pigeon named Ina, and the cat knows better
Yes.
than to tangle with Ina. Or Ina, I think it's pronounced actually, but yeah. So yeah, I think he would be up there. If it's nighttime, the image certainly seems to imply that then he is enjoying the cool night air and the stars, which he knows to have significance.
Yes. Annika, where would you
If
find...
given it is nighttime, I was gonna say, I imagine left to her own devices long enough, Annika usually ends up exploring the deserted areas of the castle, trying to find what stuff goes where. But given it's nighttime, and that's probably not the best time to be doing such things, she is in the library, reading as much as she can, and occasionally making a note or two in her little pocketbook. Should she come across
Nice.
anything she thinks worth particularly remembering.
Yeah. The library is one of the few areas in this castle that have been meticulously taken care of. Unfortunately, some of the books have succumbed to old age and disrepair, but there has been efforts made by Algot, the butler, to restore most of them. The ones that were not beyond repair when he arrived. It is a nice library. It's two stories of this 3-story building, but it's narrow. So like the bottom room is kind of small, but it's very tall. And warm, cozy for a drafty castle, and kind of dim. Like, despite what Hollywood and D&D would like us to believe, castles were not lit by torches 24/7.
What?
Have we gotten to electricity yet? No?
Parts of the town have electricity or
Like gas lighting.
Or gas lighting, yeah. This castle, the main room has gas lighting, like the entrance or foyer area, but the rest has a candlelight or fireplaces.
Yeah.
And or fireplaces. There is a handheld lantern that you can pick up and move around with, should you want to, like Annika likes to do, explore, because it's more protected and lasts longer than a candle or a torch.
I'd say she probably has several light sources lit up.
Yeah.
A mixture of candles, so she can adjust her position in the chair and not be plunged into shadow. She's trying to make it reasonably bright in her little research corner.
Nice.
And I'd say while she may not specifically know where Ansfred has gone, she'll have a pretty good idea of where to find him if she wanted to go looking.
Absolutely.
It'll be the roof or the kitchen. Depending on the time of day.
Well, quite.
Victor.
So I think Victor, if it's nighttime especially, would be likely in his room. He would have picked a room if he could, even if he has to take like a large sort of like pantry or almost like closet. He would have taken a room with no windows if he could help it. He would likely be sitting in it, I think, at a like sort of small table, one candle on there, providing some amount of light, and I think just kind of staring almost robotically at a sort of collection of sort of newspaper clippings and pages that he's spread out over the table, while he absent-mindedly kind of disassembles and reassembles the various parts of his rifle.
Nice. Yeah, there are a couple of rooms that are inside the castle, and there's also a vast network of rooms and hallways under the castle. Normally storage rooms.
Interestingly, despite the fact that it would be the infinitely easier choice for not having any windows, he would, I think, for the most part, categorically refuse to enter any of the underneath of the castle. Unless it was absolutely necessary.
What? You mean a dilapidated old building? You don't want to go into the basement?
Troll in the dungeon!
And in your line of work, very possible.
Cobwebs crawling under an old table.
If there is a troll in the dungeon, I will ready my gun and shoot it when it comes up. I'm not going down there. But yes, I think he's
first.
Yes, I think he's probably in his own world, kind of unless someone asks someone of him, or he hears something that would indicate something is going on. He will likely spend probably an hour or two in this kind of semi-vegetative state, just staring and fiddling with his weapon before he just snuffs the light out and goes to sleep.
Nice. Okay, so, Ansfred, as you're up on the roof taking care of your pigeons, you see a large messenger or carrier pigeon fly towards you from time to time, blotting out the light from the stars and the faint lights from rooms below. And
That's big.
yeah,
Blotting out all the stars.
no, parts of the
All right, okay.
yeah, and
It's eclipsing the moon.
yes,
Pigeons beyond your comprehension.
The bell immediately like, we have a problem.
Ambrose, no.
Dire pigeon.
Writing that quote down. Pigeon beyond comprehension. That's a doozy.
That's a
Sorry.
good one. No. And with some difficulty, this large grey beast of a carrier pigeon lands next to the what's it called, the roost.
Yeah.
And
I would put out an arm
yeah,
or a hand.
yeah, it
I'm
will.
going, "Oh."
Yeah, it's heavy, and you can tell it's well fed.
Oh, okay, good.
Even
I have
for
one like
having
that.
like knowing how far carrier pigeons can travel, this one is a chunky boy.
You will make great supper.
And around one leg is a surprisingly large note, like wrapped around it. It is. It is
Broadsheet newspaper.
not that big, but it's pretty big. And as you unfold it, you see that it is a letter written on very nice paper, like expensive paper. And while I do something real quick, because Ansfred, you got a hero point, and I need to
Oh.
find where the hell I put hero points.
Gracias, Fitzkuga. That's a real combination of accents and languages.
Yes. So for those who haven't,
Danke.
for those who are
Bit
new
better.
here, hero points when I run D&D can let you succeed on a roll, stabilize you if you're on death saves, or petition the GM for shenanigans.
Shenanigans!
Now,
Shenanigans.
in Vaesen, it works a little bit differently, but I will say a hero point will let you succeed on a roll. It can also cure the broken condition, should you land there. Not remove all your conditions, but this broken one specifically. If you're not broken, you can choose any 2 conditions. And but I mean, shenanigans. You can petition for shenanigans. That still stands.
Shenanigans.
Excellent.
Shenanigans are always the most fun thing to petition for. As
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
I'll tell you about the shenanigans yesterday that someone petitioned that turned out for great effect. But the letter is also written in a very nice script, and it's particular and neat, but you can see at some instances it seems to shake a little bit, as if this person was in a hurry writing, but still
Who
had
is it
to.
addressed to?
It just says to the Society, Castle Gyllenkraut, Uppsala.
Okay,
So
cool.
it's
Then I
to-
would read it. If it was
Yeah.
addressed to someone specifically, he would not have opened it.
Yes.
But cool, yeah, no, he'll crack it open. It's probably too dark.
Yeah, no, you can't read up there. You can
Yeah.
see that there's writing, and if you hold it up, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, fine writing. But you're gonna destroy your sight if you try to read it up there.
He sniffs it.
It
Smells of pigeon.
Yeah, it smells of wet bird and paper, and also ink and that ink blot kind of.
Mhm. What
thing.
he's sniffing for is perfume.
No perfume per se, no.
Okay. That's just as he's traveling
Yeah.
down the stairs. He puts the bird in a. Now I'm putting you on the spot. Yeah, I think he would put the bird in a cage for a little minute. With some feed and water, just in case they need to respond to it, because the bird would presumably know where it's going.
Yeah.
I was like, what would you normally do when you receive a carrier pigeon? Do you feed it, or just let it go home, or do you wait? But no, he'll keep hold of it for a moment and head downstairs with Einar, and probably go to the library. And if he happens to pass the other two, but he's going to Annika first.
Yeah, so if you're going from the roof, which is on top of the 3rd floor, you would know that there is a door into the library on the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
And I imagine that Lytton is on the 1st floor, and I'd say that Victor is also on the 1st floor.
Right. Cool. In which case, yeah, he would not. He would go to Annika first. How well do they know each other? I suppose that's for us to decide, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
But in terms of months, would you say we've known each other for months, years?
I'd say months rather than years. You've met up and gotten to know each other. You might have done some small errands in town together, but this is basically the first big thing that is going to happen to the group.
Right.
Like Lytton occasionally might have taken, say,
Yeah.
Victor along with him to treat a patient, because Victor, being an ex-soldier, would be strong enough to hold them down while he operates.
Ansfrid would also happily have served in that capacity.
Yes.
He is,
I was going to say, you would have been better at it than me, I think.
Yes.
Ansfrid is a unit.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, so
you can see why Annika keeps him around. He is the other half of her skill set.
so
Excellent.
yeah, you would know, like, you might not be friends, but you would know each other, and for it's up to you if you live at the castle or if you live somewhere else in town, depending on your income level,
resources.
Yeah, depending on your resources, you might have jobs outside the society, and that is your primary job, and then the society is just the thing you do otherwise.
Like, Annika is technically in charge of her family's little detective business.
Yeah.
Her parents are retired, but I would say since her involvement with the society, she's gotten a cousin in on the business as well. So if she's like, we're going to do society time, cousin kind of holds the fort down while she disappears to deal with that.
I imagine it's fairly it blends fairly well though. Like the PI stuff is not so hugely in demand in the university town of Uppsala that you are full-time 100% seconded to the police force at all times, no breaks. It's the occasional case runs across your path. It's the lady Smithersworth needs her jewels found, or
basically
Sergeant Michelson is having an affair.
I can only imagine, like, even though obviously we're going to see what we think are supernatural things, or what we expect to be supernatural things, requests for it probably would maybe have come across a PI's desk at some point anyway, so it wouldn't be that unusual for you to just be like, hey, I've got to skip town, people are disappearing like a couple of cities over, we're going to go check it out and find out what's happening, and then just resolve the case, and it turns out, it was supernatural stuff.
It's dead set how Annika got the site in the first place, so yeah.
But yeah, so
things get a little exciting.
And also, PI in a creepy old castle probably lends some credibility.
Kind of track.
Like she goes up to that castle sometimes and stares into the middle distance. It's
So,
very
yeah,
inspiring.
would you say... I definitely think Unsfred has a room here.
Yeah.
But I don't... It's definitely not his only... It's definitely not their living... It's not their home.
Yeah. So, Algot keeps rooms for you, even if you don't live there.
No.
So you have your places in the castle that you've picked out that he keeps in order. But if you live there or if you just go there, it's entirely up to you. He doesn't really care. So yeah. Yep.
I think Leighton has a house in town, but nobody has ever seen him go to it. It seems like while he has a house, he lives in the castle.
Yeah.
In a room next to his office.
I think Victor definitely lives in the castle, I think full time. Prior to joining the society, he was almost certainly homeless. So he's got a place to sleep. He's feeling good.
So yeah. So yeah, you would then definitely have seen people come and go, Victor. But yeah, that answered your question, hopefully, Ansfried.
And yeah, as far as jobs go, Leighton, I think, does work as a doctor, but generally people send for him or come to him. Is how I would imagine things would go there. So yeah. Yes.
Cool. All right. Chaps, we have a letter. Annika, my love. He comes into the he shouts for the boys. If they hear him, great. He says, and then goes into the library. There is a letter here. Has arrived today. And he brings it to you.
I'll kind of quickly stack some books aside so I can put the letter in the best light and read it. I'm not going to wait for the others. I'm reading it straight away.
Okay.
I am impatient.
So, the letter is, now that you can actually read it in I wouldn't say proper lighting, but light. Because don't read under candlelight, it's going to destroy your sight.
I've got a lot of candles.
Yeah.
Many candles.
You see the fine hand that has been writing, but you can, like Ansfried also saw, it's been written in a hurry. The lines are crisp for the most part, and you can tell that whoever's writing is used to writing a lot of letters. The text itself is dated to June 15th, 1890, which would be... How far can a pigeon travel?
Pretty far.
Yeah, they can travel pretty far, so I'd say it's about... Given weather conditions, I'd say a half a week before. So it would be June 20th.
So a pigeon can travel 700 miles in a day.
700 miles. I don't know miles. How is that in kilometers?
700 miles, 500 Ks. 450.
No. 700 miles is 11.
Oh, sorry, 1,000. Yeah.
Kilometers.
Yeah.
Okay, so it would be
I'm going the wrong
the
way.
17th.
Yep.
So yeah, it would be the 17th, 3 days before the summer solstice, roughly.
Sorry, how many before the summer solstice?
3 days.
3 days.
So summer solstice is usually June 20th, 21st, or 22nd. So I don't know when it was in 1890, but roughly 3 days before. And the sender is said New Church of Åre Parish, which you would know is a little bit of a... Åre is one of those places you send people with tuberculosis to get better. And also for people to...
Better.
Yes. Because of the mountain air, making it easier to breathe.
Yeah.
And it's
Makes
also...
total fucking sense.
It's also an emerging place for people to go on holiday, particularly to go skiing.
Okay.
Or hiking in summer for those who are so inclined.
Okay.
And the letter says, Dear members of the Society, I pen this letter with a heavy heart and a sense of urgency that weighs upon my soul like an anchor amidst the tempestuous sea. It is with grave concern that I bring to your attention a matter of utmost importance that has plagued our humble parish and the surrounding lands. In recent months, a sinister presence has descended upon the tranquil forests that border our parish, a malevolent force that strikes terror into the hearts of all who dare to tread its darkened paths. I speak, dear brethren in grace, of a creature of unspeakable horror, a fiend that preys upon the unsuspecting souls who toil in the shadows of the ancient trees. The lumberjacks who ply their trade amidst the towering trees have fallen victim to a series of grisly attacks, their bodies found mutilated and torn asunder, their blood staining the earth like crimson tributaries of sorrow. Yes, I had to look out like 90% of that wording. None who have crossed paths with this abomination have lived to tell the tale, their screams silent by the cold embrace of death. As the shepherd of my parish, it is my solemn duty to protect the flock entrusted to my care, yet I find myself ill-equipped to combat this unholy menace that prowls in the darkness. Thus I turn to you, valiant investigators of the Society, sworn defenders against the forces of darkness that threaten to engulf our world. I beseech you, in the name of all that is holy, to heed my call and lend your strength to our cause. I shall await your swift response, my brethren, for time is of the essence, and the lives of innocent souls hang in the balance. May the light of our Lord guide your path and grant your strength in the trials that lie ahead. Yours in faith and fellowship, Reverend Nathanael Hillström, New Church of Åre Parish.
Annika finishes reading this letter and kind of pauses for a moment and says, well, he could have conveyed that in a much fewer use of amount of words, but I think his point is clear enough. Have either of Leighton or Victor heard Ansfred shouting and come to see what we're up to?
I think Leighton heard something, sort of looked up for a moment and went, eh, and then went back to whatever he was doing.
I do think that Victor has. I think it has probably taken him a minute to come up to the room. So probably about this time when you're sort of finishing wrapping it up, he would arrive, and you would see that he is wearing actually, just a question, in the library, I'm assuming the library would have multiple windows, right?
Yes. Yes, it would.
Yeah, okay. You would see him sort of enter the room, but kind of almost just skirting around the very edge of the doorway. He seems to be sort of not pressed flat against it, but almost subconsciously hugging the walls, and he's wearing a long sort of black coat with the what's it called, the collar flipped all the way up to cover most of the sides of his face. As he'd sort of enter the room and sort of Where are we going next?
Have you ever been to Aura?
Ooh.
Mm.
No, aura. It's pronounced aura.
Aura.
You know I can't stop it.
I think he would hesitate for a moment, thinking before shaking his head. I don't believe so.
Well, I'm going to abbreviate. You can read it if you like. But essentially, there's something horrifying in the forest. Please send help. People are being mutilated and killed.
You see him shudder at the mention, just back to the forests. Yay.
You don't have to come if you don't want to. Could
But I
be
should.
nothing.
We all know the one time I don't come is the one time it will not be nothing. I'll come. But I won't be happy about it.
I would never expect you to be. I'll get late on.
Actually,
Late
just
on.
out of curiosity, would I be able to get to know what people's characters look like?
Yes, I have an image for you somewhere. I think somewhere.
Oh, valid.
I can do an image.
I don't have a reference image, but I'm happy to describe.
Actually, yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
I do
I'll
have
just
a
do that,
reference
actually.
image, but I can't be bothered to search it up. So
Fine, but I'm gonna
describe.
complain the whole time. Yes.
I will just find it because I did show it to Ardana at some point, so I should be.
Yeah,
able to find
I have
somewhere.
it
That's
somewhere.
fair.
But so while we're doing that, Lytton, you hear a tiny knocking on your door, like midway up, and then a small chiming sound.
I'll just put this in the chat. Lanny! Yeah, Leighton will. Oh, what? Stand up, grab the cat under one arm because he knows if that is the fairy, things might get ugly, and just sort of crack the door open and peer out. Just, can I help you? Hello?
You hear a small voice, small but surprisingly powerful. Like it's not loud, but it carries, saying, Master Leighton,
Yes. Yeah.
the others are calling for you, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh,
They're in the
I was wondering
library.
what that was. Right, we'll be right there. And yes, tucking a cat that looks rather like a scrotum in a jacket under one arm, making sure he is nice and tucked in there. And he is wearing a nice fuzzy winter jacket. This cat. He will wander down to the library. The cat just sort of sits there placidly, purring and somewhat drooling, as he is carried.
I
Just,
love that
you-
so much.
As you open the door and walk through it, you do indeed see a small humanoid creature, human-looking creature, aside from the large dragonfly wings and the disheveled green hair.
Ambrose.
She is hovering just out of reach of the cat, and she's currently making faces at it.
Ambrose, come. Terribly sorry. And he will, make sure, once again, cat is firmly tucked, and wander into the library with said terrible creature. Just, you were calling for me.
Oh,
Yes. Do you like the forest?
Not particularly.
Oh, you're going to love this one. It's got something in it that's killing and mutilating lumberjacks predominantly.
Oh,
Normally not a problem, but there is someone not complaining about it.
yes, I suppose I'll tag along.
You're talking about the forest. A letter arrived earlier for you. I kind of forgot about it because, the windows on a window on the second floor decided to fall in, and I had to deal with that first.
Thank you for that.
So you refer to a letter other than this one?
Yes, this one arrived this morning.
This one arrived just this evening.
Oh, the one I got. Algot got it. I shouldn't call him that. Master Frisk. Mr.
The
Frisk.
frisky one, yes.
Yes. He greeted the messenger outside, and then he gave the letter to me, and then the window fell in on the second floor, and
And you forgot about it. Yes.
yes. So I do apologize. Give me a couple of minutes, and I'll go fetch it. It's now, where did I put it? I will be right back. And she flies off.
I shouldn't let you eat her.
Annika's going to absentmindedly take a mouthful of tea, then realize it's stone cold and try to discreetly spit it back in the cup. And then to distract from what she just did, she's going to turn to Leighton and say, do you want to have a look at this?
Oh, of course.
Basically, the details jump out to you as particularly relevant.
Yes,
very long chat, but
sort
you
of
know,
goes
yeah.
to grab the letter, juggle the cat. We'll swap, and places said Wrinkle Boy into your lap as he takes the letter.
Does Wrinkle Boy like Annika?
Ambrose likes everybody except for the fairy, so the moment he is in your lap, he is doing the need, suck, purr, breep,
Cool.
breep thing.
I'll delicately scratch him behind the ears.
Yes, many purrs. If I had Mr. Purpocalypse, I would actually simulate that, but he has wandered off.
Never around when you need.
Yep.
Just to find cats.
Yes. And yeah, he will hold it out just a little far away. He doesn't need glasses, or he says that he doesn't need glasses, but he's holding the letter out a little further than would be normal for reading as he sort of skims the letter.
I know that we've sent stuff in the chat, but would it be possible for us to do descriptions, maybe? For the-
Absolutely.
Yes, of course. So Leighton, you go ahead, actually.
Unthred is not a genteel man. He is of the working classes. He looks like he looks like a stevedore. He is very tall, sort of 6'6" probably. Bald or shaven headed, with a large scar crossing his scalp. But he often wears a hat. He has a mustache and goatee. In a rough point, it's like he has made some effort, probably thinking that it's quite a lot of effort as far as he's concerned, but not. The suit is simple but well tailored. Tailored is the wrong word. It's well made. It fits him well enough. It is not tailored. And it is simple working clothes. He makes an effort, and that is clear, but it only is for Annika. If Annika wasn't around, he wouldn't. He would smell a lot worse. He would drink a lot more. He generally, he only does what he does. Any social graces or niceties increase significantly when she's around, and they're only really for her benefit.
No.
He also has quite large ears. that protrude from his head in the manner of, say, one of the later members of the British royal family.
Ah.
For example.
Right.
Excellent.
One is significantly more cabbaged than the other.
Ah.
Oh, did he get thumped?
Yeah, but the other guy got also thumped a lot harder.
Excellent. So Leighton is probably about 6'2", broad-shouldered, but he has a very baby face. He looks to be in his mid-20s, but he's probably older than he looks. Sort of got very blonde, curly hair that he keeps relatively short. It's gotten long recently because he's been sort of busy doing other things. He's immaculately dressed, as is his cat, obviously. In wouldn't say finery, but it's clearly
Pirate,
sort of.
come here.
Oops. It's clearly sort
Maybe
of a
mute
bit more.
then.
I did mute.
Oops.
Am I not muted?
No.
No.
My microphone and my webcam is coming through. I apologize.
Ah.
No worries.
I'm in trouble. No, I'm not. Yeah, but he's immaculately dressed, and not like foppish finery, but a nice tailored suit, denoting sort of a doctor status. Obviously has the cat. Very pale. Doesn't smile a lot, but is generally pleasant. Keeps to himself. Yeah, that's Leighton for you.
Well, did you want to go next, Annika, or should I?
Oh, I can go.
Sure.
Annika is from a quite proper middle class family, and she dresses like it. It's though it would be fair to say that she dresses to blend in. So she's not wearing any wild colors or anything particularly like over embellished. There's no massive feathers in her hat or anything. She favors muted colors and simple kind of clothing, but it's all nicely well made. She's got brown hair, brown eyes. She keeps it kind of twisted and pinned up, but it tends to get a bit messy because she'll just start rubbing her forehead when she's thinking too much. I would say the kind of major details to kind of interest would be that she tends to wear the same hat all the time because it actually has a secret compartment in it for hiding things. And also she wears her skirts a little bit too short for propriety, but at a much better length
Scandalous.
if you need to break into a sprint or jump over something.
Valid.
Yeah, that this is true.
Valid. Well, I think
I would say like she would occasionally wear trousers if like there weren't a lot of people around. Like if they're out in the middle of nowhere, she would just wear pants, but you know, propriety.
Gotcha. Valid. I think I know I used the descriptor earlier,
Yeah.
but I think Victor looks just this side of homeless. He's got his large sort of black coat, but you can see that any sort of army fatigues or like sort of officer's clothes that he may have worn at one point, he seemingly doesn't have, or at least does not wear. He wears a bunch of various sort of patchy, old-looking jumpers and sort of shirts, all layered on top of each other, fingerless gloves on both hands. His hair is cut to probably like just above his shoulders. It's a little longer, but he's probably only about 5'5", and not very, I think, not strong looking. He's definitely got some strength about him, you'd know, because you've worked with him for a while and he was a soldier, but he's not a naturally strong individual. The beard and mustache and hair that he keeps is tangled and matted. He clearly does not brush it, although he, since beginning to live at the castle, does appear to have kind of started to take care of his appearance in that even though it hasn't been at all detangled, you can see clear marks where scissors or maybe some sort of a knife have trimmed back the sort of like the hair and beard, just without actually neatening any of it up. So it's all kind of roughly the same length, but just as awfully tended. And he looks like he has permanent bags under his eyes, like he has not slept in some time.
Oof. If you find him fascinating, would like to get into that brain.
He is fascinating, but you would
Yes.
not. Oh, actually, very quickly, speaking of which, while the fairy disappears, I don't think he can quite help himself. I'm going to shoot a glance at the window. Can I see any birds outside?
You can see a bird inside.
Yeah, there's a bird in there.
It's a pigeon.
Yeah, there's a carrier pigeon in the room.
I think that if he spots it, he would full body freeze for a moment, just like full body lock staring at it for a moment before he takes in the color of its feathers and seems to sort of let out a breath and returns more or less to normal.
Would you like to do some drugs about it?
How do you think he got like this in the first place?
Oh, no, actually, I think if you had... I don't know if you actually said that in character, but if you had ever offered him drugs about it, he would have categorically refused. And if
He
questioned
probably
about
would.
it...
Yeah, he probably would have offered you at some point something to help you sleep.
I think would have shaken his head and muttered something about, I would rather be ready than... What is it? I'd rather be ready than rested.
Very well, how about a nice cup of tea?
Just a silent nod of appreciation.
Oh, now my cat is doing the thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought I heard a purr. I'm like, late to the party.
Day late and a buck short, Raw. Day late and a buck short. You're supposed to be my my soundboard today.
So, yep. Linnea returns pretty quickly with a piece of paper that you can clearly see was probably ripped out of the back of a book. You know those extra pages when they printed old books, you had to have extra pages in. So someone has clearly ripped that out of a book and written quite quickly with a hand that is not used to writing at all, like complete opposite to the other letter you received. And she comes in and just holds it. Just, who give to?
I'm busy patting. I'm trapped with a cat. So.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, so she hands it over to Leighton and just well, you know where to find me if I'm needed. So bye. And then this flutters off.
Annika
Take
will
care.
cry. Tea maybe? Tea maybe?
On it,
Thank you.
on
have one
it,
too, thank
Mistress Blomquist. Yes. Sorry, what?
No, actually, no, he wouldn't say I'd have one. There's actually some on the fireplace in my quarters. If you'd just bring the pot by, it's warming.
Oh, thank you, Master Leighton. Yes. And yeah, she disappears.
He'll hold out the letter so he can see it better and begin to read.
The letter is clearly written by someone who is not literate. It is absolutely littered with spelling errors, grammatical errors, and a couple of points you have no idea what the person is trying to write at all. But
I'm fairly certain Ambrose could have done a better job at writing this, and he's a cat.
and so what the letter
Alfred has been reading it over your shoulder and does not. Like, looks a little bit, like, grumpy at that.
yeah.
Like he hadn't noticed any spelling mistakes.
Yeah. So the letterhead says, to the society, SOCTY, Castle Gyllenkreutz, and they for some reason managed to spell Uppsala right, so that's probably why it actually arrived. Dear Society, I hope this letter finds you well, cause things ain't right there at the village. There's someone out in the woods, somewhat what ain't natural. Me, being just a farmer, ain't got fancy words like yous, but I seen it, I did, and it ain't pretty. I was out feeding the cows last night, minding my own business like I normal do, when I hears this noise, like a cross between a scream and a growl, if you can imagine that. So I looks...
Squirrel.
Yes. So I looks around and there it was, this big old beast thing, all beak and claws and eyes glinting in the moonlight. It done killed some of the cows, and when I told my family, we were all scared stiff. They're talking about leaving, but where would we go really? We only have the farm. And nowhere safe from that thing. Not a thing like that, no. And I know who it is. I do. Uh-huh. It's the four over the quarry, that there Master Almen. He knows I know, and now he wants me dead just as dead as the cows. Now, I ain't one for begging, but I reckon we need your help. We need someone what knows how to deal with monsters like this one. If you can send some of your brave folk our way, we'd be much obliged. Please help. Yours truly, Simon Backa, farmer, Handel, Åre.
Well, I suppose that's us then.
Amazing. It's amazing how much useful detail he managed to convey in that compared to the other.
Yes.
What does it say?
Between a scream and a growl, and it attacks cows, and he thinks it's the foreman.
And it's beaked and clawed.
Ooh.
Licked and clawed.
Sort of takes a side eye at Victor at this. See how he's dealing with the idea of a beaked monster.
Like a large bird.
Mm.
I definitely think there's like, again, just any sort of like I don't think Victor tends to fidget much. I think he's due to just sort of years of discipline, but even in saying so, there is a noticeable stillness that comes across him at the mention of a large bird.
Like a really big bird.
Yes.
One that could kill a cow. So it would have to be at least half the size of a cow.
A large bird would not be said to be growling, though.
Between a growl and a, what was a scream? Could be.
So out of character for a second, I think I have an idea maybe as to what this is, because I read through all the Vaesen in the book to build my character. Am I able to make some sort of a learning check or something like that to see if I can remember? Since I've arrived here, I think he would have taken an interest in trying to learn as much about the monsters as he can. Not necessarily from a scholarly interest perspective, but more in the way of, if I ever run into this, how do I kill it kind of way. Would I know of any monsters that would... I guess the main thing I'm thinking of is they seem to spend time near woodlands, and they don't seem to discriminate between cattle or people.
Most of them. The whole thing is the woodlands.
So with you being a officer, having been in military, and also with your, aversion to birds in general, yeah, absolutely, you can give me a learning check. So that's what I was going to say. For those who haven't played Vaesen before, how rolling works is that you have your 4 attributes. So yeah, I can math. 4 attributes. Physique, precision, logic, and empathy. Now, learning falls under logic. So you would take your logic score and add your learning score. And that is how many dice you can roll.
Excellent. Then Victor will get to roll 5.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm looking for 6s, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that is 2.
Nice.
Nice.
Rolled rather well, actually.
Yeah, I have a now cold salami and cheese toast.
Well,
But reading up on military history, you know that at this point, almost 200 years prior, there was a failed military campaign in that region where Carolus Rex, or Carolus XII, ordered his men to take Trondheim.
mm-hmm.
And the men were at Trondheim when word reached them that the king had been killed. So they decided to march back a different route over the mountain. And in that campaign, well, on their retreat, out of 5,000 that left Trondheim, 3,000 died on the mountain in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Cold. They froze to death.
Okay.
Because they were... and with that knowledge of the region, because that's what you get from the word Handel, because that is where they arrived, the survivors arrived in that little village.
Yeah.
You also know from reading the books in this library that there is a particular monster that can arise from areas where lots of people have died. It is called a Valravn, or a Raven of War. And it is born from basically consuming dead people.
Oh. What was it called again?
A Valravn. A
Valravn.
Valravn.
Ooh.
I'm gonna put it in chat for people.
Oh my. Okay.
And yes, I wrote this before Zach sent me his story.
I was gonna say, would it be safe to assume that I am rather familiar with that entire thing that happened?
You would probably you wouldn't
goodness.
have been in the campaign itself, but knowing about your aversion to birds in general and your background as a soldier, because battlefields are where these things tend to pop up.
Yeah, okay. I think, in that case, yeah, as he, sort of begins thinking, sort of like, he furrows his brow as he sort of starts to think about it, and then I think would nod, and would say, just sort of audibly, just, Valravn, for everyone to hear, as he sort of goes to one of the shelves to pick out the book that he knows it from.
Yep.
I think that, he what's the best way to put it? I think that he looks outwardly relatively okay, but as he turns around to kind of hand the book over, so that, and like opening it to the page so that people can see, although he's holding his body still, I think his eyes are like quaking a little bit and doing that kind of vibrating thing where the pupils kind of just shake around a bit, like he just can't see straight.
Yeah.
As he'll hand the book over and just...
You sound
Can I roll to
rather
see if...
sure. Said you sound rather sure.
Well, I can't say for sure, but given how many died there, it is certainly a possibility that they may have, well, that all the bodies buried there may have finally caught up with the residents.
Can I roll to see if I have read this particular book?
Let me double check what that. Nope, that's not where we're going. That's where we're going.
Also, just generally speaking, though, you would probably be a lot more well-read than Victor is. I think anything that mentions like monsters or Vaesen in the name or talks about how to kill things, he has probably read. Any other books on sort of history or just like theory or magic or anything like that, he has left completely untouched. So,
yeah, you can absolutely give me a learning check if you want to see if you can remember the book and reading it. So that would be logic plus learning.
I get this is basically one of the best things.
Yeah.
to do. So I've got 6 whole dice to roll.
Yay!
And 1 success.
You do remember the name. You're not entirely sure on the details, though, but you know that you have read it and you recognize the book that Victor is holding out.
Oh, I think I've read that one. Do you mind? And I'll kind of hold out my hand for the book.
He'll hand it over, no question.
And I'll kind of flick through it to find the section on.
Yep.
I'm gonna butcher this. The Valrun. Valrun.
Oh, I think it's like Valram.
Yeah, it's
I think
emphasis
you
on the
you
second A.
pronounce it-
Valram.
I think we
Valram.
pronounce it kind of like if we were writing it, we'd probably put a U instead of a V.
Yeah,
almost.
exactly.
Valram.
Yeah, that would be right.
English pronunciations.
So the book itself doesn't really have all that much detail on this particular beasts. It gives you the information that the Valran originates from Denmark, but has since spread all across Northern Europe. It is not as common in Southern Europe. They have other Vaesen that tend to pop up with similar traits, but it seems like this particular Vaesen is almost geographically bound to Northern Europe. It does state that in an area where people have been left or buried in unconsecrated ground, the ravens and other birds, like scavenger birds or carrion birds, can overindulge and transform into this creature. They are called ravens of war because of that fact that large-scale battlefields tended to just leave people. The dead were just left. And so the carrion birds overfed on the dead.
Delicious.
Yes.
Lovely.
Uh,
Don't suppose anyone has any ideas about how one banishes something of this kind of
Pointy
nature?
stick.
Might be slightly more sophisticated. This is a creature
Leighton
that gets
sort
its
of-
energy from eating death.
Leighton sort of side eyes Ambrose on your lap, just but larger.
You fight fire with fire. Well, if you can find another Vaesen to convince, be my guest.
Now the book states that while the society has known about the Valram, it has not yet encountered one, and thus does not know how to defeat it.
Perhaps they can be bargained with, reasoned with. Perhaps if
Yeah. was going to say something meaningless and defeatist. You go ahead.
Perhaps if we consecrated the ground in which the remaining corpses were, it would take away its source of food and revert, even. Just a thought. I'm no priest, obviously.
These
I'm a man of science. Obviously.
these creatures, they come from birds, or they simply appear when the dead are there.
I believe the book said that they were ravens transformed from feasting on too many corpses from unconsecrated ground.
You
I may be
know,
wrong.
the people who could help the most, perhaps, are those who were fed upon.
Hmm.
You just have to ask them nicely.
Hmm. Do you think that's wise? Tinkering with the already dead, shouldn't they be left in their graves?
They've already been tinkered with. That's why
yes.
we have a problem.
More than
Yes.
tinkered, I would say.
I say that we should, at the very least, put those poor souls to rest.
Can I ask a question as a person not from this part of the world? Are there any particularly kind of noteworthy funeral traditions in Sweden?
So Sweden
Like,
was
like some particular thing that you do, or like a particular food that you eat, or color you wear.
one thing that survived being Christianized was the party. So basically, everyone would get around, pour one out for the deceased, and then you would get together, usually like a potluck, where you would leave all the leftovers for the deceased person's family. And because we live in a country where the ground gets frozen about 6 months per year, you would also have I don't remember what it's called in English, but you would leave the dead in a particular cold storage over winter.
Morgue? No.
No, not really a morgue, but
Chapel. A room devoted to it.
Yeah.
A chapel.
So, other than that, being a Christian country, like ground burial was and is the most common. Nowadays you have
No
cremation,
burning.
but yeah, ground burial.
A cremated body cannot be resurrected till Judgment Day.
Yeah.
A thought.
It's why the Christians don't do it.
That, and just in case they're still alive, that would be pretty horrible. But a thought: if this is a creature that
Buried alive is also deeply unpleasant. Not that I would know.
No. Leighton seems particularly uncomfortable right now.
Good.
Noted. Possibly, given this is this bird, it gorges itself on death and the dead. Maybe we need to offer it some other type of food to break the cycle, as it were.
I think the problem, my love, is that they are already finding other sources of food.
Well, yes, but they're still creatures that it is rendering dead. I was thinking more like a nice fruitcake or, I don't know, a pear salad.
Well, ravens are known to eat just about anything.
Wait. Ravens. Ravens like shiny things.
You think we should give it money?
Oh no.
Glazed ham.
Are you hungry, my love?
A little, I think.
Yeah.
Now.
I was thinking more trinkets, buttons,
Oh, buttons.
silverware,
Hmm.
allure, capture, take. Can't kill them, we
Negotiate.
don't know how. Well, potentially. But they are physical, yes?
It seems so.
If it's real, it has a lair. If it has a lair, then it needs to sleep.
You wish to
Or
keep it in a cage?
I have a way with birds of some kinds. But if it's in a cage, we can take our time on trying to kill it, if killing is needed.
How big a bird are we talking about here?
How big a cage
Half the
do we
size of
have?
a cow at least. Apparently.
That was a guess. Normally, when a creature is preying on something, it would not be bothered with anything much. It would struggle to bring down a creature more than twice its own size, and struggle to, well, wouldn't really need a creature any smaller than itself. So no larger than a cow, unless it's not eating for sustenance. And frankly, if we're dealing with a bird larger than a cow, I'm out.
Attica kind of gives you a slightly disapproving look at that. Victor,
It's...
do you even know your kind of knowledge of these Valron? Are they capable of being satiated? Like, is there a point where they've eaten enough, or is it more of a endless, uncontrollable hunger to devour until there's nothing left?
Just to make sure, Alana, you said the society hasn't actually directly run into one of these before. So I think the extent of what Victor knows about them is probably in the book that you're holding. And so I think he would just sort of briefly look over your shoulder, scanning the pages of the book again, and then just shrug. If the book does not say it, I am not sure. I have not seen it. As it is unlikely, I think, given they only heard one noise, but worth noting, it could be a flock.
Oh, that is a terrible thought.
A flock.
Birds tend to travel that way.
How big was the battle? And ravens don't.
So,
I think he doesn't vocalize anything, just sort of other than the but I think you can see from the look on his face that he very much disagrees with you.
so
Why do I find the thought of one larger bird more palatable than a large flock of smaller birds?
Potentially because it's easier to catch one thing than 100.
Your knowledge about the amount of people who died on that mountain is not that it was particularly like a big battle. It was more like a drawn out march across the mountains where people just kept dropping as they froze to death in mid-step. Or
not so much a battle, but lots and lots of deaths.
Yeah, and like there are clusters where people would have made camp, hoping that campfires would save them, and then just not get up the next morning.
Is this based on a true story?
It is.
Oh, what a horrible way to die.
Yeah, no, the big thing was that they were prepared for a summer campaign. And then the Norwegians turned out to be a lot hardier than they had expected. So they basically besieged Trondheim for 2 months. And then the winter hit. And
they weren't ready.
Yeah, they weren't ready for it.
None of them had brought an appropriate jacket.
Exactly. They had summer outfits on. And then when the notice came that the king was dead, they were like, okay, we're going back the fast way, we think, over the mountain instead of taking the other way back. And so they got caught in a 2-day blizzard, wearing summer outfits.
At that point, they'd clearly demonstrated that foresight was one of their strengths, so, you know.
Absolutely.
If this is a beast that feasts on that bodies left to rot in unconsecrated ground, perhaps some sort of religious relic would be repellent to it. Perhaps we'd get holy water or some sort of what's the ball thing that the smoke comes out of?
Since
Essential.
Or a censer with maybe a nice crucifix on it.
it's possible, but if we're looking at maybe 3,000 dead, that's a lot of bodies and a lot of mountain to consecrate.
Is it winter?
No, it's summer.
Good.
Well,
Good. This is good.
I did also. Your idea of having them eat something consecrated would maybe work. I have
Ooh.
read of a couple of Vaesen that effectively undoing the method of their creation could work. And as much as they already have the bodies to feast on, that does not mean that they will not eat anything they see. And they don't have
Oh.
to know it's consecrated, so maybe we could
Ansford,
trick
we might
them.
have to break that vow we made about never breaking into a rectory again.
Again?
A third time is too many chances to take.
Third?
My life
All
is not a book
extremely
that you open in
necessary.
the middle. Let alone close to the end, I think. If this goes the way I suspect it may.
Perhaps one should just talk to the priest.
Oh,
We're in a hurry.
have you ever eaten with one?
Yes.
How was that?
It was fine, I suppose.
I think I have heard this joke before.
Annika is staying studiously silent about the prospect of Ansford and a priest having dinner together and how that would pan out.
Ansfred laughs for possibly the first time Victor has heard, and taps him heavily on the shoulder.
I think he just kind of sways in response, and although it's difficult to see through the tangled, massive beard, there's a definite shift in the hair that could be a smile.
Leighton looks vaguely confused. He is aware that there is a joke here, and he is aware that he is not part of it, and he's just trying to figure out if he is the butt of this joke or not.
Well, hopefully we will not need to consume any priests today.
Yes, that would be ideal.
Yes.
Although, if it ate a priest, do you think that would work? I'm not saying that we should try and do that. I'm just saying it's an option.
Yes, I don't think that one should allow the creature to eat a priest. But perhaps we could, I don't know, feed it the holy host.
That is actually an interesting point. If you can convince one of these to eat the host. That's the body,
Birds
right?
do like
They like
bread.
dead bodies.
Birds do like bread, too. So.
And if you wrap it in cornstarch or... No, I'm thinking of seagulls.
So baking soda, I think you're
Baking
referring to.
soda, yes.
But don't do that again.
Again with this again.
I'll show you later. It's good fun. Oh, Abis, thank you very much for the gifted subs, you bloody gent.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yes, that's wonderful.
Unfortunately, the commands don't really work, but I have made a note of time additions.
Excellent. Yes.
Well, I'm sure that this is amusing. I perhaps consulting with the priest on whether feeding a fell creature the holy host is sacrilege or not. Maybe something we should do.
Is this, in this world, in this time, would the church even, would they be aware of / acknowledge the existence of creatures of this nature? Vampires.
Most
spooky.
priests, most part of the church would say it's just superstition. But there are priests, especially ones out like on the fringes of society, who have either seen Vaesen themselves or believe that they are sent from the devil, or both.
Mm-hmm. There is also nothing saying it has to be a human. Maybe we could just...
Normally, when it's a priest, it does have to be a human.
True, but for the birds, there is no saying we could not break into a butcher instead. Consecrate cattle. They're clearly happy enough to eat it.
Can
Then we
anybody
don't even
here
need-
consecrate? I cannot. I'm not a priest.
We might have to. Well, anyone can bless something, so that is an option. But I suppose
I can't.
we would have to find a priest at least moderately willing to cooperate with us, or we can repeat the breaking into the rectory routine.
Just the font. We just need a little dip in the water of the font. I can go get some right now. I go in to, do the... But I take a jar.
There's a mental image of someone, like, sneakily trying to fill a jar.
Oh, I want to be very, very clear. There would be no sneaking.
Just waltz in, scoop some up, like, do that to the priest.
Hunsford is absurdly good at stealth, actually. But he would not in this instance.
I was gonna say it reads like the Sherlock act like you belong here. The priests all just watch him do it and leave, and they're just like, "Do you know that guy?"
Leighton looks so pained.
I'll go get some. In our line of work, not the worst thing to have anyway. I would be shocked if we don't have some around here.
Geographically speaking, how long would it take us to travel to Orn? Sorry, Orn. Aura. I was closer than I thought. Aura. Like, how long would it take us to travel to Aura, assuming that we have the financial resources to, acquire some sort of transport?
So, the fastest way to travel would be by train. And it would take you... Well, today, it takes about 16 hours?
Gotcha. So we'd be
no, about
looking
10
at,
hours.
Days, probably.
So yeah, it would take about 2 days by train. And then you would have to inquire how to get to the village mentioned in the letter, Handel. But you would be able to get there by train in about 2 days.
Right.
Well, it is at least the beginnings of a plan. Maybe we should look to acquire this once we are already there. I don't think the conductors will take very kindly to bringing a sack of meat to rot for 2 days on the train.
No. Roy, you need to not be purring into the microphone, buddy. Sorry.
I'm still scratching Ambrose behind the ears. Like,
Yes.
Yeah. That's what's
Yeah,
happening.
purr, drool.
yes, we will have 2 days, at least 2 days on the train to get to all. So hopefully it hasn't killed too many people by the time we get there.
Yes.
Plus, if it is local, maybe somebody will have a story. Or someone will have some idea of how to kill it. Even if we don't. They'll probably be wrong, but maybe they'll be close.
Sometimes fables contain the grain of truth needed to actually defeat mysterious creatures. Annika looks altogether too excited to be going to look for a giant death.
Are we able to leave in the morning, maybe?
I'd be amenable to that.
Would the newspaper have like train schedules in it?
No, but you can go to the train station and check the schedule posted on the walls.
I can swing by on my way back from the church.
Yeah.
I think Victor will nod and I would just rather leave with the sun up if we can.
Well, I
Doubt
doubt
you
there'll
have
be a
any
train
choice
till
in the
morning.
matter.
Ansfred, if you're planning on going to visit the church, do feel free to take my horse.
Oh. Gratitude. I am now deciding if he can ride a horse. I think
I would
yes.
say yes,
not very
but not
well.
very well.
Yeah.
You basically know foot goes
Leighton-
there, hands
Leighton
go
is-
here.
Yeah, Leighton is just picturing this poor man, you know, needing to run away with a jar of holy water, and figures that having a quicker than him getaway vehicle may be useful in this regard. He has no desire to go anywhere near the church right now himself.
I appreciate that Leighton considered this. It's Leighton, the way Leighton thinks this is gonna go, and the way that Ansfred thinks this is gonna go are exceptionally different. Ansfred will probably lead the horse away from the church. In fact, he may not ride it at all. He will take it for a walk with a bridle on.
I'm just imagining him walking away from the castle, just like, I love company.
Oh, tell me, horse. Do you
He
like the
didn't
weather this
specify
time
to
of year?
ride my horse. He said, you may take my horse. And so Ansfred takes the horse with him.
I think that is
I feel like there's a joke here about leading a horse to holy water.
Yes. And on that note, I feel that's a great place to take a short break because we've been
I am
streaming.
dying.
We're at the halfway point now,
Very good.
so I think we're going to take about 5-minute break as soon as I can find the be right back button. There it is, and we shall be back with the second part of what is supposed to be, you know, the gathering information phase of this, which are you're doing excellent at, by the way.
Excellent.
Look,
Really
we
looking
can't
forward
just
to it
time
going
the
sideways.
2 days we have to spend trapped on a train with each other.
No, that's the next episode.
Yeah,
It literally is. It's the next episode.
yeah. Basically, so the way they put the formatted in the core rulebook is that the first session is basically gathering information. Second session is getting to the location. So if you want to spend the whole session on a train, that's entirely up to you. But so getting to the location and doing some scouting is the second, and then the resolution of the mystery is the third session.
Gotcha. It sounds to me like we'll probably wind up doing some information gathering once we're there
Yeah.
as well. But,
Yes, absolutely. But yes, we're gonna take a short break here, but let's say 5-10 minutes. I'm gonna go refill my water and do all that stuff. So, unhydrate, rehydrate, grab snack, all that fun stuff, and we shall be back in about 5-10 minutes. Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Whee!
Hello, everyone. We are back. I hope you grabbed some snacks, some drinks, some unhydration. Probably shouldn't grab that, but had time to. Oh, I should have grabbed
At
some.
least
I was obliged to
3
grab
of us here have to grab that to unhydrate, actually.
it.
have to's a strong word, but go on.
Well,
I can go hands free. Bluetooth.
no thanks.
You probably shouldn't have
Wireless.
blue teeth near that.
Wireless technology is incredible.
Just saying, probably shouldn't have blue teeth near that. It seems like a health hazard.
Yeah.
This is not what Harold Halrada had in mind.
Yeah.
No.
Owie.
So, yes, before the break, you decided on breaking into a church to steal some.
Visiting.
Okay,
it says Leighton.
visiting.
Visiting a church, not breaking in.
I mean, it
In
did.
a place like Uppsala, I'm guessing the churches are open day and night. There would be at least one place you could go to a Vasen's even at the middle of the night, right?
Actually, being Catholic was illegal, so you could probably just knock on the door of the priest's home, but the church itself would likely be locked. But I mean, no one would be in there. There would be no guards. The doors would just be locked.
Even better. And there will
So, hang on.
certainly be no supernatural beings guarding them, for sure.
So we are, I suppose, taking it as read that Catholic iconography and all that frufra will work. Do we know that it does?
No.
We don't know anything, honestly.
The main.
I didn't, not just against Realm, but all.
You know that Christian iconography will work. Sweden at this time is a Protestant country, and being anything but Protestant was illegal.
I was planning on going to a Protestant church.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have fonts as well. And assuming that, would it be fair to say that one of them would be open at this time of night?
That depends on your definition of open.
Would the front door be unlocked?
Yes. Considering it's summer in Sweden, the midsummer nearly, the sun would not have set, and the rules usually was that you would lock the door at sunset. So it would be dark, but it would be like twilight.
Twilight.
It's kind of weird. So it's kind of weird in Sweden. You would get twilight and stars at the same time in summer.
Yeah. So Ansfrid is going to go to the station via a church.
Yeah.
Taking Bessie out for a walk.
Excellent.
He looks casual. He goes, he opens the door, he just sort of loops the reins once around a post. One would presume there would be one out the front of the church, and goes in with a jar in his pocket ready for it. Goes in, opens the door, sort of doesn't look around so much as just he looks. He scans the entrance just because you would when you enter a room. You just take in everything. He's not like examining it, making sure. He is. It's not so much that he's being studiedly nonchalant as he's being generally nonchalant.
Yep.
He knows that this is not really what you're supposed to do, but he also knows that it's not illegal or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
And he goes up to the font, which is traditionally fairly near the entrance, so that he can dab a bit of holy water on himself, which he does. And then he takes out a decent-sized mason jar from his pocket.
Actually,
dips it in the font.
In a Protestant church, you would have the font up by the altar, because you don't do that whole crossing yourself when you enter. So.
Well, then he goes up the nave, and yeah.
So
he would probably sit for a minute or two in the pews, relatively near the front.
Yeah.
Just looking up at the crucifix. I think he is a man of faith. Probably more because he was brought up in it. He knows what his mother taught him properly.
Yeah.
Than because he actually has any significant faith. But he is a Protestant, because everybody is. And so yeah, he sits because he knows what he's supposed to do. And he had one too many slaps across the back of the wrist to not do it, and makes a show of it, and then goes up to the font, and if you don't, it shows how long I've been since I've been in church.
Yeah.
He might dip it and sort of cross himself after the prayer. Then a decent-sized mason jar comes out, and he just scoops up a bunch of holy water, seals the jar, nods to the bloke on the cross, and leaves. Regardless of whether this is absolutely nothing to do with anybody else in the room. If there is or is not, he does not care. He interacts with them not at all.
Yep.
Unless they actively seek to interact with him.
As you walk through this room, it is generally pretty dark. So you would have every other pew would have a single candle in it burning, but the large candelabra hanging from the ceiling are not lit. They would not be lit unless you have it's not called a mass in Protestantism, but similar. So it is basically mandated that everyone shows up on Sundays, and so it would be only on Sundays that the large candelabra would be lit. So you would have a single service. Thank you. So there's a single candle lit on the altar, and then every other pew has a single candle lit.
So plenty enough to see by.
Yeah, plenty enough to see by, but I wouldn't recommend trying to read anything with small print.
No. Cool. Yeah. He scoops up some holy water. If there is a priest, he will nod and bow, and then leave.
Yeah. You see a priest in the back, the door is open into. Is it called the rectory, where they changed their robes? Yeah. So you would see a man through the open door, and he'll just nod at you as you nod to him. Just, I see you. I know there's someone here. And seeing as you did your thing and didn't actually take anything, he doesn't care. Well, he didn't really see you take anything of value.
It's water. He can bless more.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to think it was they ordered it in from Jordan, but no.
No. No, it's just water.
Turns out they just pour it from the tap. So, fun aside.
Yep.
One of my mum's favorite stories about my childhood is when my brother's christening came along.
Mm-hmm.
I was 7, and I was astounded to find that the font, and this was in a Protestant church, had a plug in it.
Yeah.
Because I'd made some general assumptions about. I know that water left long enough goes bad, but I had assumed that holy water didn't. That something about the blessing of God on it stopped it from going manky. Even if you dip small children in it on the regular. And I also thought it was special water that they got from a special place. Like, don't you have to get it from the river where Jesus was dunked himself or whatever? I didn't know the details. I just assumed it was important. So, bunch of small children around the font, all looking into it as my little brother is dunked in, who is now a 35-year-old engineer, but at the time very small, and dunked in. I go, there's a plug in it! Quite loudly, like 150 odd people heard the 7-year-old go, what? Hang on.
I mean, that's better. Probably
and the
better.
priest was obliged to explain, and he did a good job, actually. He was like, he took it in his stride and went, yeah, let's address that. Why not?
I mean, it's better than what I did during a service, a children's service when I was visiting my grandma. It was broadcasted on radio as well. So
Yes.
even as a child, I was prone to wander off. And so suddenly my parents see me standing across from the priest, talking back to him as he is delivering his sermon. And
that doesn't make any sense.
yeah, me like 5 years old, just responding to him as if he's talking to me, directly to me, not just addressing the whole room. And then they look away for a moment, looking at my sister, who is terrified of everything, and then look back, and I'm not there anymore.
Oh dear.
And suddenly they hear clang, 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 clang from the rectory, where I found the alms box.
Oh no.
And started clanging it like a maracas. And come back up, we'll start walking back out into where the rest of the people are, with the alms box just clang, 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 clang.
Oh god. I have a small one. I've got two, but I'll tell you the one from when I was an altar boy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, me too.
I was up behind the the altar, sitting down, trying to be quiet while holding the bells.
Mm-hmm.
While holding the bells, because I was one of the boys who got to jingle the bells. Anyhow, out of nowhere, I had one of my explosive sneezes, and the bells were on the stand thing on the ground, and I poked myself just above my eye as I shot forward, sneezing with the pointy bit of the bell holder.
Anyway.
And of course, I am 15. I have done this, and I just yelled, "Fuck!" in a church.
Excellent.
Okay.
No notes.
Tangents aside.
Outrageous.
Yes, outrageous. Tangents aside, let's get back to
Sorry. Yeah.
stealing water from a church. The streets, well, it's water. It's basically free, probably from the river.
Exactly.
You come out of the church, and looking to the north, you can see the castle now silhouetted by the twilight. You see stars coming through even clearer above. It's still not dark because midsummer and Sweden. But it's getting there. It's getting hard to see. The only light you have outside is a street light, a gas light, about a block away. And the lights filtering out from the open door of the church. While Ansfrid is on his mission, procuring means to deal with Vasen, what are the rest of you doing?
Annika is going through the library and basically selecting books to read on the train that thinks might deal with either the Death Raven sort of thing, or with similar kind of death-associated Vasen. She's selecting her reading material for the next few days.
Let me check. What would that be? I would say rolling for let's have you roll a learning check to see how many books you can bring that you find that you want to bring with you.
This goes better than the last time I rolled dice. Oh, that's one success already. None on the second roll. And I dropped one on the floor, so I'm going to roll another one.
Yep.
And that one's a 6 as well. So 2 successes.
That means you find 4 entries in 2 separate books that you think might be relevant. One is a book on shapeshifters, because of the mention in the second letter that the foreman of the quarry is a Vasen. So a human-looking person that is a Vasen might be a shapeshifter. Did Keren just freeze?
I
Maybe.
believe maybe.
Yes.
Yes, she's definitely frozen.
Oh, I welcome the quacks. Jazz?
Who are you calling a quack?
Excellent.
Quack, 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 quack.
Mm.
And
At least Karen didn't freeze while she was like blinking or sneezing.
true, she just looks like she's pondering the books and then mildly
Yeah.
disapproving of very shenanigans.
She is.
Yeah, Victor.
Yeah, I think in that case, there's kind of 2 things that he would like to look for, but I think the first one he'll just keep an eye out, and he'll ask sort of if he runs into either Linnea or Algot.
Yep.
He'll ask if there's any sort of silver in the house that he'd be able to borrow for the trip. He's not necessarily expecting a silvered weapon or anything, as handy as that would be, but he's just kind of reasoning that, like, even if it's like a candlestick or something, that's got some heft. I could smack something with it if I needed to. So he'll be looking for silver, but I think he's actually primarily going to go try to find Linnea and ask her if she knows anything about or has any idea about how we could handle Valraun.
Yeah, so Algort has his own quarters, also at the bottom floor. He would absolutely say like, oh, well, there is the silverware. You can grab a fork, I suppose, Master Victor. Or, well, if you want to go down into the basement, the old armory might have a silvered sword or 2. I wouldn't know, haven't been there in months now. And then there's the candlesticks, that they might be a bit suspicious if you're traveling with them.
I think he'll sort of think and nod. And I think after closing the door, we'll, I think, move to the top of the stairs down to the basement, just staring down them for probably a good 10 minutes, maybe. just standing there completely unmoving aside from his hands just clenching and unclenching before he walks away to find Leighton and
I
just
was about to say, if you wanted a roleplay
yeah.
moment there,
I was gonna
I
say
see
we'll
Leighton
walk
just
away to
walking
find
out with the cat
Yep.
under his arm, seeing him
As if
staring
he-
down there.
Yeah, if he sees you, just Leighton, come with me.
Yes, absolutely, yes. And yeah, he will absolutely accompany you down there.
Grateful to have not been questioned about it. Will take just like a shaky breath and just as normal as he can descend the stairs and look for the armory.
Yep. You would need a light source
I-
because it's pitch black down there. So I assume you bring
That
like
is true.
a candlestick with candles or a lantern.
Yeah, I'll bring a lantern down.
Yeah, I think Leighton's looking for a small firearm, like a pistol or something.
Yep.
Musket. I don't know what they have at that particular time.
I think at this point in time they did have like rifles and
Pistols,
things like
yeah.
that, but they were single shot like what is it? Like they were cartridge bullets still, I'm pretty sure. They weren't like ball and powder, but
Yeah, no, it would be
yes.
cartridge,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I-
single loader.
I have a revolver, so
yeah,
Think,
like
think Wild West. It's the same era.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, he'd want a small revolver, like nothing too fancy, just something that he can,
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
shoot.
You would not find firearms in the old armory, probably, but you could find two revolvers in the new one on the first floor.
That could work. He will go there afterwards then.
but yeah, I'll get Leighton to come with me and I'll go look. Is there anything sort of silvered or sort of interesting looking that he could find that he thinks might be useful?
So as you descend into the basement, the shadows cast from the lantern seem to almost crawl along the walls, and you can see like moisture dripping from where the river is making itself, like reminding you that, hi, there's a river nearby. And there's a very distinct smell of mold and moss.
Yep, I think his eyes are flickering everywhere.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to respond to most of it. I think Leighton would see that he's doing like just a very sort of stiff, like measured, almost like march.
Yeah.
But I think he's breathing hard enough that it's probably audible.
So Leighton, who is sort of standing a little behind him and to the left, will just very lightly put a hand on his shoulder. Just very lightly put
He
his hand
will
on his shoulder.
fully, like, you feel his entire body jump as soon as you touch him.
It's okay. Just letting you know that I'm here.
He'll
So-
let's just get what we came for and go.
Yes.
It doesn't take long at all, just a couple of minutes, to find a old oak door that seems to be having a little, like a greenish tint to it from mold, and it opens with a almost screeching of old hinges, but it opens easily. And inside you see racks, like from hanging on walls, where you see various weapons, ranging from a great sword all the way down to daggers. And on one side you do see a dagger and a what looks like a rapier with a different sheen on it than the other ones. All of them are covered in a sort of like patina from not being used or taken care of for many years. But still, on
Okay.
one dagger and on one rapier, you can see like the light falls on it differently than the other ones.
I think in that case, does Leighton sort of seem to express any interest in any of them?
No.
Okay. I think in that case, he'll move in and move quickly. I think he'll snatch up both of the weapons that look a little different. But I would also like, if possible, to find a saber.
Yep.
And so he'll look for one of those.
Yeah, it's let me see. Yep, you find a saber. It needs some taking care of and sharpening, but you know that there are whetstones up in the new armory.
Yep. In that case, yeah, I think he'll grab the saber and the dagger and rapier, the special-looking ones, before turning and briskly walking back out past Leighton and back towards the stairs.
And yeah, Leighton will follow, and it's just Victor.
He does not slow down, but he'll acknowledge it.
Victor, you're familiar with firearms, yes?
Indeed.
I'm, how would one say, a little bit of a novice. Would you, perchance, be able to help me pick a small handheld weapon? Firearm, revolver, whatever. Those. Something
Certainly.
reliable and easy to use.
Certainly.
Thank you.
I think, and at this point, despite his best efforts, I think is beginning to, like, you could clearly tell he was on edge, but it's getting worse, and I think you'll just hear, like, a quiet kind of, like, under his breath, and he'll book it for the stairs, fully breaking into a run, and just leave.
Excellent.
Yeah,
and yeah,
the clunking of your boots echoes in the basement. All stone walls, stone floors, and stone ceiling.
And as soon as he's back up on the first floor, we'll breathe properly, and so as not to take too much more time, I'll swap out the saber on his belt for the silvered one that I have found, and I think he will try to. Yeah, he'll help. 1 second, sorry, my brain. He'll help Leighton pick out a gun and some ammunition. He'll pick up some ammunition for his own, and then we'll spend just some time sort of starting to go to work owning the weapons. He figures that if we're going to be stuck on a train for a few days, he might potentially be able to spend some time doing it then, as long as not too many people are looking, but he'll make a start.
You guys just firing wildly out the window of a moving train. Annika's trying to read and just...
Yes.
Yeah, I think he had the idea to talk to Linnea about things, but I think after all of that, he has likely forgotten, and is happy to just kind of sit and let his gaze unfocus as he just goes through the motions of repairing the weapons repeatedly.
Yes, seeing Victor stowed away in his room again, he's going to sort of, not exactly sneakily, but he's not going to say anything about it, just plonk Ambrose in there briefly. He'll come back for him in a bit, as he goes to work on getting all his medical supplies sorted and put away. He knows if he's going to be using glass jars and things like that, the Manus Goblin, that is his cat, is going to knock everything onto the floor and break it. So he's sort of quietly given Victor some cat-sitting duty while he sorts everything up. And he's looking at things for lacerations and deep wounds and disinfectants if they have anything like that at the time, to clean. So alcohol, probably. And also...
iodine would have existed.
Iodine. Yeah, also anything he thinks might subdue, knock out, or kill a large bird.
Yep.
So he's just sort of adding all this stuff to his medical trunk, basically.
I had an idea for I was gonna say, what is?
And if at some point you do return for your cat, despite the fact that he has made absolutely no moves towards it, it has somehow wound up in his lap, and the repeated motion of oiling and whetstoning the sword has been replaced with patting it.
Yep.
Yes.
No one can resist the kitty.
Indeed. All hail
Even
kitty.
if it has no head.
So, Victor, could you please give me a logic or empathy roll against fear. You do have 1 extra die because of Ambrose.
No.
Excellent. I'm gonna make a logic roll because it's doubly as good as my empathy. And you said 1 extra roll for Ambrose?
Yes, 1 extra dice for Ambrose.
Okay. Ooh,
You
we're
will
close
need-
on a few.
Yeah, you need 1 success to not
I
take
got
it.
1.
Okay, otherwise you
I
would
got
take a
1 6 and then a bunch of 3s.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Ambrose,
One
help!
what you
Yay!
needed.
Yep, you got what you needed.
I did.
But yeah, the basement clearly took a little bit of a toll on you.
Absolutely.
Annika.
Like, it's a basement in an abandoned castle. Like,
Yes, normal people are.
best kind.
it's a sensible reaction. Like,
Yeah, like
Annika's crazy. God.
worst case, there's a ghost in the basement. Best case, the building might collapse on top of you.
I think, what is it? Despite the fact that you are saying that as the
Yeah.
DM, as that phrase is uttered, I think Victor shudders.
Yeah.
Yeah, Annika.
Cat
I'm not
walks
sure how
up
much you
brave.
caught of it earlier, but you find 2 books.
I 2 books.
2 books with 4 entries combined on how
Hey, don't eat my allergy pills.
that
Sorry.
might be potentially useful. One of them, one of the books is talking about, well, one of the entries is talking about potential shape changers because of the farmer mentioning that the quarry, the foreman at the quarry, was the Vasen, and any human that pings as a Vasen is likely a shape changer. And others have to do with corpse eaters and unconsecrated ground.
Cool. Just some light reading material.
Yes, definitely. Leighton, yeah. So
Yes.
my brain just shut down. Why? Come on, brain. Even as the night is pretty bright for being in the middle of the night, you all realize that you could wait at the train station for the next train, or you could, get a good night's sleep before heading to the station. Ansfrid, you were heading to the station to wait or to check the times, or what did you?
Just check the times. I wasn't gonna
Okay.
stay there.
He's got a bed with a
Hey.
perfectly good wife in it.
Just hang out in the train station for a while, see what's
Yeah.
popping.
Yeah.
As you
One
check
of the
the
most
as you check the times, you realize that the next departure is either 9 hours ahead. It's roughly midnight now, so 9 in the morning, or 3 days from now. You also see that
I think I know what they're going to pick.
Yeah, you also see that the train station opens, so you can buy tickets and such at 7.
Oh. Good.
So there is a very good chance that you can get back, get some good sleep, get good breakfast, and then catch the train.
Will it be light outside when we are leaving?
Yes, it
Leave
will.
constantly, basically, at this point.
Yeah. So at this,
Excellent,
this
excellent,
point
excellent.
in summer, you would get in Uppsala, you would get about, I'd say, 2 hours of night,
Yeah,
and
right.
it's not going to be dark, like it.
Yeah.
It's going to
Gotcha.
be dark-ish twilight, and then
Okay.
miraculously dawn again. So
I'm a big fan. Let's go.
so yeah, as you I lost my train of thought. Yes, Ansfrid, you find this out. You still have a horse to deal with, and you're currently hanging out at the train station in the middle of the night.
I literally just scan the board.
Yeah.
It probably takes a little longer than most people would, and then I walk home.
Yep.
Leading the horse.
Leading the horse.
The streets are completely deserted, but it is. I mean, a Swede would say it's relatively warm outside. It is probably like 16, 17 degrees.
Oh, that's fine.
Beautiful. Love
Yeah.
it. It's shirt sleeves weather.
Yeah, basically. I mean, if you live there, it's nice. It's nice weather. The streets are completely deserted, and the few oil lamps that are currently lit flicker and give off like long shadows trailing from areas that are not lit or obscure the light. You see that along the path you're walking, a lot of like alleyways and side streets lead off that are not lit by anything, and you would almost feel like it's kind of like a liminal space because it's so quiet. But being a large academy city, it's during the day it's bustling with life. You hear the occasional drunken groaning from someone who didn't make their way home.
Make it all the way home.
Yeah, make it all the way home before collapsing in a gutter somewhere and now trying to sleep it off in the most uncomfortable position imaginable. I mean, you're drunk. It's probably not gonna notice, but waking up is going to be rough because there's nothing blocking that sunlight.
Ansrid would probably have checked in with Annika if there was anything she wanted him to pick up for the trip from their home before coming back, and would go and get it if she did want him to get anything. But otherwise, yeah, he would just go straight back. I wasn't really making it, unless something jumps out at him. I wasn't really planning for this to be much of an RP thing.
Annika would have asked you to drop off a note for Cousin Monty to let him know that you're going away, and he's going to have to deal with stuff for a little while. She doesn't provide an abundance of details for Cousin Monty. He's just basically getting dropped in it.
Yeah, like, hi.
It's how Blunkfists learn, is being dropped in it.
Where it can be anything
One day,
from the
parrot
river
walks into the room and says, "Right, today you will learn to be a detective."
Oh, cool! You get to teach me finally? No.
No, you're just gonna follow me around and learn.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Go do the thing.
You'll figure it out. Leaves town.
Or die, which I always find is easier.
Comes back,
Cool.
The dude's looking like all sorts of messed up, and he's just like, "You have the sight, don't you?"
Yeah.
Would we have
Man, acquired it while you were gone.
It's the only way to get it. Would we have any... Our gear is more practical base, I would imagine, not ephemeral.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so probably nothing useful toward the mission at hand. So yeah, I just go straight back. And avail myself of the armory as well.
Yep. So...
Oh yeah, 100% actually. If you walk back in, he would have... I think he would have been in his room taking some time to sort of like start working on it, but at some point would have come to find you, holding both the dagger and the rapier. The sort of special ones that he found, and looking sort of offering them both, and just... Do you have a preference? I figure you might be able to use some of this.
Unsfrid doesn't really say anything. He just takes the dagger from you and flips it does an elaborate series of flips and twirls, chucks it, spins it on his palm, and goes, "The weight is good. I take this one."
I am
Sure.
so intrigued by Amsterdam.
Same.
I am.
I think he'll just sort of like nod and shrug as in like sure as you go to take it, and then I feel like it might be special. It looked special.
It's
But I don't
silver.
know. They mostly looked silver. These ones looked different.
Well, they were metal. You think all of them were silver?
Most, at least.
Silver, when silver tarnishes rather than rusts
Yeah.
or patinas. Is this tarnished?
These ones
Question.
were patented, didn't you say?
No, the other ones were med patina on it. These ones look
Oh.
different. They are more black gray, so tarnished.
Just needs a good wax.
I think he'll reach into a pocket and produce a second, oiling rag and whetstone that he procured from the armory when he sort of went through and started doing it himself, and just, you can use my spare.
Oh, thank you. Anstrid was in the process of taking one out of his own pocket, but he has been schooled in politeness and etiquette, and
Or
very
at least
formally
in
says,
toning down the rudeness.
he doesn't really fully understand when it's called for, but he's trying.
Actually, yeah. No, so when you, did you actually, start to pull it out, or did you not get there?
He would have reached into an inner pocket. So he got about halfway out of his pocket, but it wouldn't necessarily have been clear what he was reaching for.
No worries. I think he'll
All
just...
the while, there is a pigeon on his shoulder and several streaks of white down the back of his shoulder.
Yep.
Fair. I think he'll nod then as you accept it and leave side-eyeing the pigeon a little bit as he heads back to his room.
Victor, are you in practice?
I suppose. I have not had to truly fight for my life or for anything else for some time, but relatively.
I will offer you this. We practice, we train. You and I. And if it comes to it, you protect Danica from any large bird.
I'll see him hesitate for a moment, but then nod, and then just... As long as we practice inside. Or during the day.
Of course.
Then sure. And you'll again see the sort of the hair just kind of lift up a little bit in an approximation of a smile.
Would you prefer take some time in a cage outside?
No.
I leave him with Annika, perhaps.
I would rather he be where I can see him. Despite my laughter there, he is completely stone-faced serious.
Yeah.
I am, however, in character.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
There is a chuckle. He says that, then fine. Helps to, what's the saying? Get back on the horse.
Speaking of, did you just
A
randomly
phrase I have
leave
never
the horse?
understood. No. No, he put it back in the stable.
Okay. I was like, well, where?
Yeah.
He
If you
didn't
had
say
just
he
left
did.
it, if you just left it, Algot would have put it in the stables. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
If
think
you'd
in
just
that
left it, I
case,
think
if,
that she'd have put herself back in the stables herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if Ansfrid is talking about training now, Victor will absolutely engage with that. Otherwise, just whenever he is suggesting it. But
Oh,
yeah.
The proposition was sort of open-ended,
Mhm.
but well, I'm free now. If you have something you would like to get off, work out. If not, whenever you fancy. I am around and not as much of a bookworm as my wife.
Hard to be as much of a bookworm as your wife.
It is.
They're a giant
Who's
dragonborn
knee-deep in
who are
life
not.
right now.
Yes. Often I forget what my own home looks like.
I think that he will nod, sort of in acceptance of the offer. If Ansford isn't doing anything else, but will offer back, just there is nothing wrong with being well read. Very useful tool. But I
No.
would rather not be a worm. As he again kind of side eyes the pigeon in the corner of the room.
Well, I remember. The train leaves 9 a.m. tomorrow, and ticket bookings open at 7.
All right. Then perhaps we should rest.
The early bird gets the worm, but the second shark gets the salmon.
He'll sort of like
As
there's
my
definitely a
mother
look of
always said.
focus. There's a definite look of like I've not heard that one before. not even in the way of like what the hell is that, but genuinely just a fully accepting. I've not heard that one. As he sort of nods and sort of thinking to himself, and then
A phrase I've never understood actually, because it implies the worm is also awake early. It works for some people.
I suppose. Well, no birds. He'll just slowly walk away. I think at this point he's deep in his own thoughts, and I think just starts to wander away, kind of quietly muttering to himself, having completely lost the plot on the analogies and just once again obsessing over birds.
Yeah.
Why do I have a sneaking suspicion that Victor's going to steal Ambrose at some point?
If only to keep the birds away.
If Ansford can acquire a duck call at some point,
I mean,
you're gonna give Victor an aneurysm, but it will be funny.
As you all settle down to rest before your departure, Algot and Linnea are just moving around the castle, and each of you will find next, like in your room somewhere, a plate with sandwiches and a cup of either tea or hot chocolate. Not hot chocolate, actually, that would be too expensive. But tea, caffeine or not, your choice. Probably a herbal tea. And so like backpacks for each of you, each with change of clothes, your regular stuff that you would normally bring, and some dried apple and pear slices in a small bag.
Oh,
Curious
with
question.
some nuts and raisins.
Well, nuts, yes. Raisins, no. Grapes were expensive.
No.
But yeah, dried pears, apples, and
Trail
knives.
mix.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Budget trail mix.
Yes.
Just as a quick thing in terms of keeping stock of what we've got,
Uh-huh.
are we tracking bullets and things like that?
Yes.
Or are we just kind of assuming that we have ammunition?
You would assume that you have ammunition. If you're in a combat scenario, it takes, I think it is, if you have a revolver, it takes a quick action to reload because it's a single shot. Even though you like you can fire it, but then you have to turn the wheel yourself and fire it again. So
Yeah, gotcha.
So
that's totally fine. I figured we'd be tracking it like second by second. I was more just meaning, do I need to have a section on my sheet for like I have 12 bullets or something that I need to keep track of?
Once you leave Uppsala, yes, because you would have to buy ammunition. If you tell,
how much would we be able to get from the armory then?
I'd say
I would like a gun. Please.
If you have, if you have a gun as your thing.
I have a gun as one of my pieces of starting equipment. Yeah.
Yes.
Here's his trusty rifle.
So you can roll 3 dice. Each success is an extra, like extra loading. So if you're using a revolver, you would get 6 extra bullets.
Okay, I got 1 success.
Okay.
Off the 3 dice, so I assume I have 1 bullet.
No, you have 1 full reload. So with a revolver, if you have a rifle,
I have a rifle.
You would get. So I'm trying to remember how many would be in a case. I think a case is 10.
Right.
So you would have.
Would you like me to do this?
Yeah, if you're using firearms, you can roll 1 die plus your bonus of it. So you would have. Yeah, Victor would have 1 extra case of shots for the rifle.
So I should have 20 bullets then, I think.
Yes.
If I have 1 case and 1 extra case. Cool.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you very much.
I have 2 as well. I got 1 success. So
okay.
That's
so
I do not have proficiency with firearms, but I have borrowed a weapon.
You would bring 1 case then.
Okay. And is it possible? I've got 5 resources. Is it possible for me to buy more with those?
In town, yes. Finding ammunition out in the woods is going to be difficult.
Yes, so in town on the way, say, to the train station, would I be able to buy another... Well, how many cases of bullets would I be able to buy for a handgun?
Roll me dice equal to your resources. The amount of resources you would like to spend on it.
I'll call that okay. I rolled 3 resources and I got a single 6.
Yep. So you will be able to find 1 extra case.
Okay. So I'll take that down to 2 resources for now, so I remember.
No, you would only spend 1.
Oh, 1. Okay.
Yeah, because you don't spend you don't spend money if you can't buy it. So.
Right. Weapon. Pistol. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And then.
Annika, would you like to buy something on the way to the train station?
No, I think I'm alright for the moment.
Okay.
Oh.
So.
My bad. No, I do have a 2 in ranged combat.
Okay, then you can roll 2 extra dice, in addition to the one you got.
Oh wait, was it 1 plus our ranged combat bonus?
No, it's the bonus on
the gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
So yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I was
it
about
would-
to say, because if so, I'm about to roll so many dice.
yeah, no, my bad. No, it would be on the bonus for the.
Oh, it's okay. Well, I rolled nothing
Yeah.
useful anyway on that.
Algot will provide you with the resources to buy the train tickets, because that is since it's
Sweet.
part of your mission to get to your location. And you will also get additional resources to buy, to pay for a stay at a.
Oh, so they will cover our accommodation.
Exactly. Unless you want to go like over the top with accommodation, what the society or the society's coffers will cover is basically a stay at a hostel equivalent. So what you would get is a bed and one meal at a hostel.
Question.
Yes.
How much would it cost to rent, like, a dwelling for the four of us?
That depends on what type of dwelling you want.
How fancy.
Not necessarily something fancy, just like a place that is not a hostel, so that we could have relative privacy. It wouldn't need to be fancy at all, just relative privacy.
Let me see.
Because if we're wandering about with all sorts of weapons and holy water and Ambrose, then
It's the naked cat that's really going to attract attention.
Yes. Absolutely. I wonder where that would. It says somewhere. Services and establishments. There we go. So you will be able to rent like a small house. Nothing fancy. It will basically be like a tiny log cabin, one room with cots in it and a fireplace, a table, and chairs.
that would be ideal.
For the same cost as a hostel, but you would have to provide your own food.
And how much would that? How many resources would that be?
I'd say for the whole stay, it would be one resource per person for the whole mystery.
Okay.
But
And
you
we've
would
been
have-
given enough resources to do that.
Yep.
Essentially. So if I wanted to sweeten the pot, could I like throw in 2 resources to say, get us food?
Yeah, absolutely, you could.
Yep. So if you guys don't mind that, I would fund the difference myself for us all.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop you.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
It would be like rustic food though, like stews and bread.
Oh, that's fine.
That sounds phenomenal.
So nothing fancy.
Ansford doesn't say anything, but he does pull out a small piece of like jerky or something from
Yeah.
his pocket and throw it to the cat,
Ow!
which appears to be the first sign that he is even aware of its existence.
Yeah, he's now
So-
got one paw on this jerky and has sort of got his head on the side on the floor, trying to eat it while standing on it and sort of making meow
Yeah.
meow sounds
Yeah.
Okay.
like idiot
So-
cats do.
So, according to the rules, staying in the shelter that you're getting will let you rest or get medical aid should you need it, and the simple meal that you will be provided will make it so that, like, if you rest and if you eat the simple meals provided, that you get, you will be able to stave off exhaustion.
Excellent.
Cool.
So
Perfect.
you don't have
Love
to
it.
roll. You can basically wait another day to roll against exhaustion.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Cool beans.
And
Very
I
exciting.
think with your preparations ready and you all awaiting at the train station, that is where we're gonna wrap.
Apologies. Can
Yes?
I request a bow
There
or
will probably,
acquire one?
yeah, there will probably be one in the old armory, along
Mm.
with arrows. You would need to
Um,
fix the arrows, but
The
yeah,
arrows will be modified on the road anyway.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, he would do that.
Okay. You
Can't tell
find.
if my ears stopped working or my headphone has stopped working on one side.
Would you like
It
me to
could
treat?
be either. No, the pitch doesn't matter. It's just I'm deaf.
Probably
Yeah.
weird. I get that sometimes as well. It might help if
Yep.
you hold your nose and try blowing it, carefully blowing out of it.
No, I have a thing.
Okay.
I'm 70% deaf in this ear.
Ah, that's fair.
But it's more of it like comes and goes. Sometimes it's
Ah.
100%.
I love that.
Yeah, same.
Mm.
But yes, so yeah, you can absolutely find a bow. You find the equivalent of one quiver of serviceable arrows. So it would be 10 arrows in total.
10 arrows. Sweet. The range is 0 to 2.
Yes, that means your own zone or up to 2 zones away.
2 zones away.
Yeah.
Which is handy.
But we'll get to that if and when you get into combat.
10
But yes.
arrows.
Standing next to the train station in the morning, the day is overcast but warm, being in the middle of the summer, next to a river and pretty close to the ocean. It is starting to get a little bit balmy. But as you see the train come in, the wind picks up in the draft from the train, and the doors open up. Are you bringing the horse, Leighton?
He will if he can,
Yep, you can.
just in case he needs to get someone out.
Mhm.
He's also pushing a stroller that has a sort of firm netting over it with a cat inside.
So the horse would then be taken to the livestock carriage
Yes.
for the journey, and you will get a side glance from the conductor about the cat, and then just shrugs his shoulders. You've paid the ticket for it, so they don't care.
Infants ride free, right?
Yes, infants do, not cats, however. Cats are considered pets.
Oh, well, he's medical equipment.
Right. Well, have a pleasant journey,
Just pet.
sir. And you have been the tickets you have been given, or the pay for the tickets that you've been given, are for not for first class. So it's not third class. You're not sitting on wooden benches the entire travel time, but it's
Thank God.
yeah, it's not a sleep carriage like overnight first class, but it's the benches have stuffing, and the backrests also have stuffing.
No, it's
Cool.
even. Yeah, Ansford sits down like, this is all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how the other half lives. This is even better than Star Airlines.
I do think that Victor would probably sit down across from him, and there'd just be like a sort of low like grunt of agreement and nodding as he sort of takes a seat on one of the benches, and
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ambrose is in a luxurious little carrier like a king.
Yep. Yep. And
Yeah. I think
pillow in
where
the car.
before Ansfred wasn't trying to look like Ansfred was making no effort to look nonchalant. Now he is. Now he is trying to go like, I've totally ridden in second class before. Yes.
Yeah.
The
But he's
Absolutely.
constantly bumping eyes on stalks like, oh, hello. Hello, fellow rich people. Nice to see you.
I was gonna say this is very very similar. I think from Victor. It's nice to be in a train carriage with seats.
It's nice to be in the train carriage.
Mm.
But
True.
Oh dear.
the carriage is starting to get packed with people. You see families traveling, you see merchants and all manner of people piling in and taking place on the benches, taking a seat on the benches. And as the train whistle blares out across the station, smoke starting to like plume down along sides of it, and the train jerks as it starts moving, that chick 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 sound reverberating through the carts. That is where we're going to be leaving this session, this first part of the
Yay.
mystery. And we are quickly going to do a fun thing that they have where you would answer questions about
The just as before we head out.
yeah.
Ansfred grabs Annika by the wrist, and says, "Wait, we're not going to be going past Wilhelmina."
I'm not sure. Are we?
No.
Does anyone have the route?
No.
It's
No.
fine then. Don't worry.
No, that would be another 2 days.
It's just that the railway
What?
lines around there are very, very poorly laid. I hear.
You from whom, sir? From whom?
Oh,
Yes.
old friends, fellow workers on the docks.
I see. Right. Very well.
Alec
See
is
my
giving
earlier
you
comment
the.
about my books and lifetime and opening it halfway through.
One evening we are going to have to sit down and you are going to have to tell me a story, sir.
You have spent your whole life learning to do one thing, yes?
Doctoring, yes.
I have spent many lifetimes learning to do many different things then.
Nothing, depending on who you ask.
Nice.
I am fascinated, sir.
But yes, so we're gonna go into a system that I really like that Vaesen does, is that you have 8 questions that you ask at the end of a session,
Ooh.
and each one you can answer yes to will get you an experience point.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
5 experience
Okay.
points lets you either add a skill point or pick a talent. Now, I noticed that I didn't get your new character sheets, but that doesn't matter. So you start well, in this case, mystery, with 1 talent from your chosen archetype. Then, if you hit 5 experience points, you can pick another, either from your archetype or from the general talent list, or you can add 1 point to one of your skills.
Can you repeat that very first bit there?
When you, which one of them?
So my brain
You
just sort
don't
of...
get all 3 talents from your
No.
list? Is that the one you're thinking
Yeah,
about?
you
Yeah,
get
yeah,
to
no,
pick
you get
one.
one. Oh, is that what you were saying? So if we
yes.
get 5 experience points, then we can pick
Yes.
something else.
We
You
pick
can
a new
pick
one.
another one
Yeah.
from either your archetype or from the general talent list.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent.
I have one picked out and ready.
So the first question is: did you participate in the session? Yes, all of 4 of
Yes.
you
Yeah.
did.
Yes.
Freebie.
This is going to be
point,
easier
let's
than I thought. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Second
were you
question.
awake? Yes.
Second question is: did you meet any Vasen? Yes, you did, Linnea.
We met
Yep.
Linnea.
Yes.
At least one.
Yes, at least one. So that's another freebie.
And the horse. Yep.
And maybe Amber.
Question 3 is: did you identify a previously unknown Vasen? You did identify the Valram. Well, at least
Yes.
Victor
True.
did.
It was unknown to us.
Yes, it's unknown to you guys. So yes.
Does only Victor get a point for that?
I assume everyone would.
I
Yeah.
think we did it as a group, kind of.
Yeah, you
sort
were
of.
discussing
Victor
it,
did
so
that.
yes.
Sweet.
Question 4 is: were you affected by your dark secret? Like, did it play?
Yes.
Yes.
My dark secret, no.
So 1 yes for
No, me
Leighton.
neither.
Dark secret. Hang on. Let me just check. Oh, no.
Okay.
Yes.
So-
it's very uncomfortable
actually-
at one point.
Yes. A little. At the very, very end.
And then
Jesus, what did you do in whatever it was called?
It's more about he moved around a lot for reasons. He's had a lot
Yeah.
of jobs, and he's being non-specific about why.
yeah. So yeah. Question number
Keren is
5.
now giving me the look of, oh yeah, oh yeah, motherfucker.
You committed a terrible crime, didn't you?
No. How
Maybe.
fucking dare you?
Question number 5 is: did you take risks to protect other people? Not yet. I don't think any of
No.
you.
No. I
No,
asked
not
somebody
really.
else to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything? Yes, all of you learned something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you develop something in your headquarters? No, you did not. That add a room, basically. You did not.
Yeah. Right.
Did you perform an extraordinary action? Yeah.
I stole some
Nah.
holy water. That's about it.
Yeah. Extraordinarily stupid in some circumstances, but no.
Hey.
If you had gotten caught, then you weren't stealing the silver, so
No. I wouldn't steal from a church. Just take something that they give away for free.
yes.
Just take a little more of it than they normally
Just
expect.
getting in
Again, Leighton looks a
advance.
little uncomfortable.
So each 5 lets you pick a talent or add a skill point. And whatever didn't make a 5 carries over to next session.
Okay, well I got 5. What
So
do I
wait,
want?
where are these questions in the book? Or...
Yes, they are on page 25.
Oh, sweet. Because I was gonna say, I just want to quickly double check because I don't actually know if I made 5.
Front
I
and back,
didn't.
yeah.
I only got 4.
And if I
Two,
previously was I,
3.
you affected by your dark secrets.
Yep.
Have you learned anything? Yeah. I got 1 through 4 and 6.
Nope,
So any
I-
points that does not make a 5 carry over to next session. So you might get 2 talents next session
I'm
instead of
I'm
1.
gonna say I think in fairness I wasn't affected by it. It just
Yeah.
sort of came up.
Yeah.
So I don't think I was affected by my dark secret.
Yeah.
It just sort of came up.
I think Yeah, unfortunately, I was very affected by a lot of things, but none of them were
Your
my
trauma,
dark
but
secret.
not your dark secret. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So yeah, so I think I'm at a nice just shy 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, so next time you might gain 2 things, depending on
Yeah,
what
Mm.
you discover and such.
How well you do.
we'll see
Yeah.
how we go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think Ardana, because you know the backstory, do you think Leighton would have been affected enough to earn a point?
Hmm. I'm trying to remember when that would be.
The discussion of the dead and potentially the whole,
Yeah,
bringing things back, all of that.
yeah, an argument could be made for that, yeah.
Because if not, I'll take one off. But
I mean, an argument could be made for that, yeah.
okay, I'll live it.
'Kay.
Every shiny thing.
So,
Sweet.